Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Play Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. In the last part we finished off Raleigh over at that chapter, now we're in Mugshot's world for the Boneyard Casino.
Getting in, but look out for those guards. Mugshot's got those machine gun-toting dogs hunting like a pack.
I love their walking animation.
I know, it's
on
like
beat.
they're kind of shuffling to the music, which is pretty funny.
So, the guards in this stage can honestly be pretty annoying because while they have about the same cone of vision, which is what the flashlights in front of them are, it's effectively the Metal Gear Solid view cone. If you get in that, you're immediately spotted, and I don't think the alarm is sounded, but at the least you need to be careful because that means every guard nearby has been whistled and is coming at you. But those, I forget what kind of dog that is. They have those machine guns.
They're Dobermans.
They'll use it. Dobermans. Ah, okay.
I'm pretty sure anyway, if I know my dog breeds.
My brain was going to Pinscher for some reason, and I don't know why. Like, that doesn't seem right.
I'm sure they're Dobermans. Maybe double check on that.
Yeah, who knows?
They're dogs.
Doggies. There's a lot of dogs here.
It'd be funny if they were Pomeranians.
Missile, no!
Hi, I'm Missile.
Die! This is the stage where you can really take advantage of the way that the flashing on and off security lasers work, where the moment they start flashing, that you can just step on that panel no problem, because even though it looks like that should still count, it doesn't, and that's so easy to just take advantage of to get to the level without getting spotted.
Also, because it's a casino level, there's a lot of breakables.
Yep, you can get a lot of money here really quickly. Not that that matters too much besides one-ups and charms in this game. Sly 2 would actively add a shop system to use your coins on to get upgrades in. But hey, every extra life matters, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially when you're a one-hit wonder in this game.
Though this kind of reminded me of something. Like, between parts, I was doing a little more research, looking on some sites and all that, and I was noticing, like, the often cited reviews for the game from the actual era. The two often detractions from reviews at the time, I'm pretty much paraphrasing this from Wikipedia directly, was the game's length and difficulty. The difficulty, I think, is a subjective thing, especially depending on what the target audience is, because if this was aimed at young kids like I was when I would have first played, it's like, yeah, that's probably going to be harder for them than it is for us nowadays. I've never really understood complaining about a game's length, especially if it's a platformer. Like, I feel like it's easier for platformers to be too long than too short.
Yeah, and it's kind of like what we talked about, like with the difficulty in the previous episode with the crab level. Because that is, if this is aimed at younger kids, that is way too difficult.
Yeah. And, like, obviously, like, every kid is going to play things a little differently. Like,
oh, yeah, of course.
Like, even amongst my various friend groups, I'm known for being the gamer TM who can just, like, clear shit in much easier times than other people. But there's a level where I think people also write off kids' ability to do things.
Yeah.
Or at least enjoy things, because people will just mark off bad writing as it's a kid's show when that's not exactly right. If anything, kids should have the better written things so they can get across things better.
Or like how, yeah, it's immediately written off because it looks like a kid's thing.
Swift with deciphering these codes. Dial 338. Okay, this page is from your hyperactive ancestor, B.F. Cooper. He discovered a way to speed up the clock. Perfect for those long stakeouts. Just hold down the triangle button to use it.
You were not kidding about the trickster god thing.
So this is the exact opposite as the jumping time thing. You can now just speed up the environment around you. This is, I think, the one ability that's honestly still pretty useful even on a first playthrough because it'll help you accelerate enemy guard cycles in case you're trying to get through that spotted or if you're trying to get around certain hazards. Still not overly useful, but it's useful enough. And now just land on the correct thing in the roulette thing 3 times in a row. Thankfully, this isn't that dangerous.
Gambling.
Reminds you of what we were talking about during Ape Escape 2 with a lot of the games we grew up as kids. Just had casino imagery in them for some reason.
It's an easy thing to do.
Easy thing to do. Distinctive visual styling as well.
Usually the place where you can grind coins if you need to.
Albeit in some cases it is unreliable in the case it's like from a slot machine type thing. Looking at you, Pokemon.
Also, because I was interrupted by Bentley earlier, what I was saying, like, stuff being written off as just a kid's thing because it looks like it's a kid's thing, aka Studio Ghibli films.
Yeah. Like, I remember, like, yeah, there's a lot of Ghibli things that are kid-adjacent and very comfy, like, Kiki or Totoro or
Oh, yeah.
Ponyo's probably the peak of that. But then, like, Grave of the Fireflies or Mononoke? Whoo!
Oh boy. Even Spirited Away.
Hurry, what's going on down there?
Well, I drove to this hot dog stand for a quick snack, and the next thing you know, I'm getting...
Is that one of the devs' faces on that sign?
I was about to ask the same thing.
For the winner.
Yeah, 3 times around the track for a key.
It's all you, man. Drive the van with the left analog stick. And if you manage to pick up any nitro power-ups, you can get a boost by pressing the square button. Go get them.
I'm on it.
I totally forgot about this minigame.
So there's one minigame that gave me endless trouble in this game as a kid, but if there's any that given me just consistent shit over the years, it's this. The van controls decently well, honestly. Like, it has some good momentum and all that would feel good in a racing game. But you need to play these levels, once again, like with the crab level, to near perfection to get through and have an easy victory. There are things I like about this, don't get me wrong. Like, I like how every single one of the other competitors actually has a unique car and theme. And in fact, when we drive past, I think the ones in second place right now, they're actually playing mariachi music. But the weight of the van here definitely makes this just feel rough. Stay to the interior of the track as you can, just to have a slightly shorter trip, and cut corners however you can. And use your nitros if you ever are on a straightaway.
Also, funny, it's funny foreshadowing for 3.
A little bit on accident, yeah.
And I'm sure it's probably not what the developers intended either.
I mean, it could be a thing like they were like, hey, let's revisit this. Could be interesting. I brought up last time some anti-piracy measures the game has. One of the, I think, most well-known one is in this level, where they actually cap the acceleration of the van, making these impossible to win. Evil.
That is very evil.
I still think one of the most evil of those, though, I think I may have talked about this in another LP, is Earthbound's, where they increase the enemy spawn rate and they'll lock the game up right in front of the final boss.
That's evil.
And it erases your save file.
That's some
Evil.
Oh, that's some Yoko Taro crap.
A little bit.
just a little bit. Combination of Yoko Taro and Undertale.
Once you get into first place, you're largely going to be locked in. But yeah, I do not like the racing. It just does not feel that great, and the timing is kind of eh. I get why they probably wanted to have little mini games in here to add a little more level variety and all that. On top of that, it would also kind of play into even what Crash does, where Crash has, like, especially starting in 2 and 3, like the motorcycle stages, the tiger stages, the underwater stage, the jetpack stages. But I think there were more interesting, or at least more approachable ways to do that than off-feeling mini-games.
Yeah. And I think Murray's the only one playable in these minigames, isn't he?
Yeah, Murray's in control of the cart. In fact, that's the only time you actually plays him in the first game. Which I guess in that regard, It's not a bad way to do extra playable characters, but I much prefer what the later games do.
Yeah, oh, yeah, me too. But it does kind of make sense for, like, origin-wise, because they're probably not as skilled as Sly is at this point.
Also, I think they're meant to be young. I'm going to see if I can find anything about this and put it in post around here, but I think they're meant to be, like, late teens at this point.
Yeah, like, at least, like, 16, 17.
Provide some covering fire for him with that blasting station.
Sweet.
Use the left analog stick to aim and press the square button to fire.
I'll do my best.
Oh, no, not this minigame.
So, you guys like turret sections? We gotta protect Murray as best we can. You gotta be careful, because I think not only can you hit Murray yourself with your bullets, but if there's any explosives nearby that you can hit to take out some enemies, they can also hurt him. Enemies spawn at set locations along the path, but they're almost all gonna try and blindside you. If there's any point in this game where something I said I think back in like part 2 will happen, where an enemy will just come from off screen and go around the camera to hit you, it's gonna be here with something coming from behind Murray with like split-second timing for you to kill them. This sucks.
Yep. I did not like this minigame when I played this.
Yeah, at least your bullets travel fast, and everything only really takes one shot, but I dislike, oh, I killed Murray on accident!
Oops.
Yeah, that's... There was a good period on my first playthroughs of this game as a kid, where if I didn't get stuck on the crab level back in Raleigh's stage, I got stuck here for several hours, and the fact I would get game overs and probably lose some progress or just have to start all over, because I think there are checkpoints along the way in here, just did not help.
Also, that was such... that one garage door opening to a bunch of explosives, that was such a trap.
Yeah, like, if you hit those, Murray dies. Beginner's traps, my favorite. The best thing is, the few of these stages that are in the game, and there's a couple, I think there's like 3 in total, they're short, but the punishment is definitely notable. Mm-hmm. There is one piece of advice I would give, is that keep your eyes out at all times, obviously, but especially listen out for the whistle. Because whenever the whistle happens, that means an enemy has spawned in that is now gunning for Murray in some form, so that'll at least give you a moment of, where?
Yeah, it's like if you keep a close eye on Murray, you should be fine.
But that gives us, I believe, every key we need in this area to go access the interior of the casino, so let's go hit this car.
I wonder why it's locked up.
Why is the engine running and it's locked up? Also, if you're wondering why I'm not activating it, because I need to stand on this thing in specific. Little specific with that, I think basically every single key has something like that in the game, but at the same time, that's like the one that's easiest to miss, I think, on a first run. I always think that should explode.
It really should. With the speed that it went at.
I love the interior here. I don't know why. It's just so weirdly comfy to me despite the, situation going on around here.
I like it too. It's like, and like the big mugshot face in the background is so Looney Tunes-esque.
Would you look at that ugly mug?
I am, and I find it infinitely fascinating.
Huh?
My X-ray detection devices reveal that a secret elevator to Mugshot's penthouse is contained within that giant head.
So, how do we get in?
Behind this locked wall, there's a lever that summons the elevator. But you need all 7 keys to open it up.
I'm on it.
There's a joke to be made here about how large an ego Mugshot has, but the game itself effectively makes them, so I feel like it'd just be redundant. Alright, we're actually coming up on one of my favorite levels in the game. There's just something about this I've always found very iconic. Straight to the top, we're gonna be on the rooftops the entire time, and I just find this really neat looking. Especially given that Mugshot icon's there, like, I think the moment you first reach Mesa City itself.
Yeah, and this is like kind of what I like about Sly games too, is like you're gonna be spending most of it on the rooftops because it's the most effective way to get around.
And like they do a good job in especially the later games where you're on there more. The rooftops are still like designed.
Forget it! Your cane will never smash that thick glass. You'll need something super heavy, like that big wrecking ball up there.
I love Miley Cyrus.
Yeah,
they do a good job. Sorry, what?
No, I'm just imagining Bentley singing, I came in like a wrecking ball.
They do a good job in the later games with the rooftops, wherein they actively feel designed, not just like they just put rooftops up there for you to get around things, because they'll place enemies up there, they'll have some extra platforming things and all that. It makes it feel like it's part of the world still and part of the level, while still letting you go through the streets.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you can handle it either way.
The most dangerous thing about this level, and 100% I'd say, outside of the dogs that'll throw the cards at you, which are sort of this world's equivalent to the walruses with the starfish from Raleigh's world, is the cars you jump on to get bottles, because a second after you jump on them, they fall down. And on a first playthrough, I guarantee you're going to lose at least a charm to that, because you're probably going to be like, alright, where next? First, instead of immediately jumping off.
Yeah, because you would think of those as, like, decent vantage points to take a look at the area.
Guess which bottles I missed on my first run? That is one of the few times they actively hide bottles behind an interactable like that, and it kind of sticks out. Kind of wish they did more with that, honestly, because it actually rewards a little more exploration of the level.
That's definitely a fun idea.
It's something I think that sometimes the sequels kind of missed out on, is proper expansion of doing more with the levels besides just having them be like this aesthetics version of this thing. Mm-hmm. Because like, we even see it a little bit here with the enemies I was just talking about, where we kind of have different aesthetic versions of the same enemy type. 2 and 3 get pretty guilty about that, as with 4, of just having, alright, here's these 2 small enemies for this region's aesthetics, and these 2 large enemies. Nothing really changes about them.
Yeah.
Mind you, in that regard, that is, I guess, where the sequels do better on the platforming aspect, because they'll have unique platforming mechanics in each world in some form.
Ah, there's another wrecking ball.
The good thing as well, though, if you're having trouble with the game, as Dove brought up, there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of breakables in this world. And it's never too hard to get a lot of money to either give yourself a free charm or get yourself those extra lives. I definitely got game overs a good bit in the game as a kid, but those were usually more out of recklessness than the game being hard. Also, just to say it outright, in case I'm not editing out, I'm sorry if you can hear my cat meowing. She wants out of the room, and I'll do it in a minute.
I got a voice message for the 2-bit thieves making off with all my treasure keys. You dead, pally. If I get my hands on you, I'm gonna fit you with your own pair of cement buddy slippers. You hear me? You lunch me, joint!
Referencing to mafia killings. Weirdly dark, but kind of funny.
Well, we did see in his intro that he liked the dog father.
Yeah. I like that food truck. That's not even a joke. That was a real one near my college. Alright, let's go get our power up for this stage.
Press the circle to enter the vault code. You need an IQ of at least 140 to figure this one out. Dial in 468. You found the blueprints for Mugshot's additions to Mesa City. With these files, I'll be able to help you find all his clues and breakables. Just look through your binocucom to get the information.
I want to say you pretty much universally get the blueprints at the halfway point of every world. Which I think is the right way to do that overall, because it means you still have to do some work to get it, but once you get it, it'll still be useful. Because I feel like some games give you things like that a little too late for them to be useful.
Agreed.
All right, so I'm actually always forgetting something here. I always forget that I just need to jump on the wrecking ball to end the level. For some reason in my head, I need to hit something on the machine to have it work.
I get that, because like sometimes with that stuff, you also sometimes are just supposed to whack the string.
Yeah. And that's that level down. I'm already most of the way through this world. Sly 1 is not a very long game. Not that the entire trilogy really... I keep calling this series a trilogy. Sly 4 exists. I should not erase it. It just feels so disconnected in some terms.
Yeah, and you'll get all our opinions on that when we get to it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
obviously we will make comparisons here and there, but we're not trying to trash the game. It's just we wish it was better.
Missed opportunities is the way I would describe my feelings on that game. But with that, we're going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 5, we're going to go 2 for Tango. See you guys then!
See you later.